the universe is ever expanding, and that's what like drew me to this when you started talking about your
Mhm.
D&D sessions, was that it is always changing and growing, so it felt like real, you know.
Now, you bring this up a lot, and I appreciate that you do because it's one of the reasons we moved everything to the Discord. Is it's almost like if you're not there every day, you'll get lost, which is 100% correct. It's an unfortunate facet of us just kind of letting it take over and do its own thing. When we
Mm-hmm.
stopped making decisions for the game, we both knew that part of that was losing the ability to stop on day 14 of month 12.
Yeah.
The next day, that's gonna tick over whether we want to or not. Part of it is Yig and I are compulsive about D&D. We love what we do. We love the game. We spent most of our adult lives learning 3.5. And that's a lot of material to sift through for this hodgepodge D20 system we're running now. But we used 3.5 for basically everything, every single thing we could. And then when we found things we specifically just wanted to be different, and I don't mean like, I don't like this rule, so we changed it. There's plenty of rules we don't like that we kept because they were a balancing factor.
Mm-hmm.
But like the gun rules, we did our own thing. D20 Modern had a damage system and a range system for their guns, but didn't like how it worked. And it was also impossible to put in a gold piece value stuff you got from D20 Modern. That's why you don't see a lot of D20 Modern stuff. Their equipment, in order to buy it, goes off of, I want to say, wealth level,
Okay.
which is just a super simplified way of tracking wealth. Like a pistol may be a wealth of, you need a wealth level of 4 to afford. Do you see what I mean?
Right.
Instead of having the physical gold pieces, they just kind of shrunk it up to, well, we're going to just call it a wealth level. And if you have this level, you can afford this item. I didn't like that. It also made it impossible to say how much ammunition was. It made any kind of equipment, mechs, cars, spaceships, any of the stuff that we tried to use for modern, almost impossible to put a value on.
Right. Stuff like that,
You,
it helps
anyways,
out y'all universe to balance things, because you do have to take like some liberties and switch things up to follow the story you're trying to tell.
yeah, and so this is again, I love having your different opinion on this because it's really helped me narrow down some focus points that we're going to work on. And one of them is there's not really a story. This is sandbox MMO. There are stories that you can find, but there isn't one driving force to any universe.
Mm.
Which you've played long enough, you know that better than anyone. I'm saying this more for the chat,
Right.
but if you put the story there, you're going to sacrifice. Okay, I'm going to say this in a way that I feel more correct. If you decide to be story focused, you're going to have less energy to develop the sandbox portion of your game. And if you choose to go the other route, it's the exact same thing, in all honesty. You run into this, I've spent all this effort and energy on this section, now I don't have what I need for the other. And we ran into that a lot. Still do. Yeah, you bring it up, and I have to stop and go, that's a good point. What in the heck is everyone doing? And then I go, oh, wait, that question is almost impossible to say what everyone is doing, what everyone's focused on. Heck,
Right.
I don't think Neves knows what all of her people are doing at any.
No,
Well, that's probably not true. You have a file on
but
it.
each character and each player for their character has a motivation, right? Like each
Yes.
person has their own type of journey that they know what they want to do.
Yeah, and you see a lot in some other D&D campaigns, and I'm not dogging anyone who does this. Don't I want anyone to take it that way. This is just one of the ways I have seen the game played is you get players who get really attached to a character and not so attached to a story. Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Attached to their parties, attached to their, the lore, the stuff they've done, and they don't want to give that up. Well, this kind of facilitates that a little bit better than traditional D&D because now your DM doesn't have to give up their story in order for you to keep playing one character that I want to play this for a while because I think we allow if you've managed to get one character to level 15, we let you run two characters because we feel like you know enough that you can handle running two characters in the Discord. Very rarely do people do this because it's a lot of freaking work, which is why we kind of put that rule in place.
Hmm.
Aside from, DMs who are kind of everyone all at once.
Right.
But a lot of what people will do is if they want to play something else, they'll semi-retire their character. And by semi-retire, what I mean is they go into this state closer to I'm crafting. I'm going to work for a while. I did all my fighting. I don't have anything to fight personally right now, and my party's busy, so I'm going to go make some money. And they either end up allied with some group, working for some group, or just doing their own thing for a while.
Hmm.
Kind of the state the Allmother's about to go into is once I'm done on Calliste, I'm going to have to make a new tune. Or, yeah, I'll make a new tune. I don't want to play the hand. And I'm going to run him for a while I let the All-Mother build. I'll still be making decisions for her. That doesn't mean a DM gets to come in and completely derail what you just set in motion, the week before. That's the whole DMs are more referees bit in our game. You can influence what a character's doing. You can't decide what the
Okay.
character's doing because that character is somebody else.
Yeah.
And the players always get veto rights over their tunes. They don't belong to the Discord or the DMs. That's the players. If you want to do something with a player's character, you have to talk to them. Now, in all fairness, on that same note, if you've been gone for like 2 years in real life, we're probably going to use that character if we
Right.
decide we want to for something. Not going to hold your spot forever and eternity. But we try our best to make it to where people don't have to worry about making it to every session, being able to have a party on all the time.
Hmm.
What we really want is for, those people who can't have a party consistently. They come in, find a DM who's on that day and willing to run stuff, and they start playing their character. And then as you're playing, other people are going to notice that you're doing stuff, and we're hoping for the domino effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is this not over yet? I promise I still am. Oh, Lord. But you were right when you said every character is going to have their. My point was before my ADD got me, or ADHD, I guess it is now. Come in with your own motivation. A lot of the times you end up having to focus on whatever's going on with that DM's story, and your character's motivation gets put as more of a background character plot. In this, it is your plot. That should be what you're trying to achieve. Even if you go do some missions for people or get involved in some grand tale on the way there.
Okay. So yeah, when you make a character, make sure you know what you want to do with that character and what their motivations and goals are. And then when you're like acclimated to the whatever crew you are, um, that's when all the war stuff comes in and the space exploration and stuff. It's like you're running side quests a lot.
But what was the last thing I said? Because I kind of went on a tangent and didn't exactly.
uh, right. We was talking about having your individual like character have a goal, or when you
Yeah.
come into the game, make sure you know what you want to do with that character. Because if you focus on that,
Yes.
then I guess you will have a more interesting time. Because then now you're running side quests essentially once you're jumping into other DM's campaigns with your character or helping
Yeah,
out. You
you're
know.
running side quests to go farm this thing or that thing, or you're going there just to get some raw experience because you're waiting a level to craft that next thing, or
Mm-hmm.
so you can cast this next spell, or you should always have your own driving force more than anything. If you come in expecting the world to give you a direction to go, you're going to end up standing in place for a long time. And that has been probably one of the biggest hurdles, is really helping people get into that mindset that this is more about you and less about the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
So even like e- even this current Calliste thing, RNG's just was even like, yeah, once you guys are done, just be done. You just have to leave a few guys here to fulfill your contractual obligations. You don't need to be here. Well, I would like to continue because I've needed to do this for a while, is to really discuss what's different. You asked what was different about what we do versus every other D20 game, and it's not about the game. It's about how the game is played. You can find any rule set in any tabletop universe you'd like to roll your dice to. What's different about us is it's not about the world. It's about what your character wants to do. And with so many characters all doing stuff, the story writes itself. I mean, just remember the sandbox. You said you felt more included in that, and that's because it was more focused about your guys' characters.
Yeah.
We've stepped off into a war that we only kind of care about, and we only did it as a favor to somebody that we have good relations with. And while that's kind of strange, it's also kind of more realistic to me. Instead of being wrapped up in this giant conflict that my character only has ever heard about in school, and I've already lost a bunch of friends to this, I don't know that I want to be here. There are people much stronger than me here. I can only do so much. And then we're going to go back to doing stuff we want to do. Speaking of which, might as well just pull the All Mother's character sheet up and have it over here on my other screen. There she is. Hi, big lady. Big lady. And I guess I'll use my own current character as a point of make the game about you. The All Mother does not belong in a conflict. She is a force of creation, not destruction. So this whole thing to me has just been me kind of hating being here. Oh, when you get on, I actually do need help with a boss that I've put off for a while. Not right now, but eventually. And the All Mother, what I wanted to do with her was not gloss over a golden age. I wanted when we did these characters for there to be lasting effects. New species, new tech, new this, new that. I wanted them to be responsible for creating more than the murder hoboing that you see a lot of parties do. And hey, I'm a murder hobo enthusiast. I love my fights. I love to throw something through a mountain, don't get me wrong. But after a while, there's just nothing left. That's just all you're doing is killing stuff, and then the age goes by and nothing got built. I didn't want to see that happen again. So I made the All Mother with the idea that she would be a force of evolution. And wherever she went, something new would get made in response to whatever stimulus she got put under. That's the other thing that's different. Players can actually create stuff that will get left permanently in the game. That's a big important thing. Your stuff, you make a new item that didn't exist. That stuff, if you start selling it, it will get left permanently in the game. It'll get left permanently in the records no matter what. But if you go through and spend the effort, like Neves' trees, they're a part of the universe now. That'll never go away.
Right. Right.
They may get destroyed. Neves may float out one day for any number of different reasons. It doesn't mean they will. I'm just hypothetically speaking.
Yeah.
Or heck, Mordred. I'll use Mordred. The shipyards one day may be gone. Right now, it's a floating civilization in space. So that is the true difference, is that when you make something here, it stays. It's just part of it.
Yeah, and that's actually a cool aspect of it too, because a lot of us likes to create things, and being able to create something in somebody else's world and have it change aspects of that world just makes you feel like you're doing something, I guess.
Yeah, makes the time that it feels a lot more. I don't feel robbed at the end of a campaign. Well, here's all this cool stuff I made that I'll never use again because DMs don't like bringing in old tunes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once you can have a tune for fighting, a tune for crafting, and then I don't know, a third for a backup. That's kind of how we imagined it. Not specifically for those roles, but for that type of a scenario where you'd rather be able to build stuff for a while. That's why I really didn't want to be a part of the war. I was having so much fun building all this new stuff. And now I'm gonna that losing what we did just put me back 20 years. It'll take 20 years for me to recoup the losses from what we did here. As our financial manager, I'm actually upset by that. And that's the other thing, it gives you a stake in the game. You care more about possibly losing this thing you've spent all this time building because somebody comes along and jacks it up. You're going to have some emotions about this. And now, as I actually say that, I'm going to address an issue that we haven't talked about briefing.
What?
I believe this is an old Minecraft term where some guy comes in, blows up your project with TNT because.
Oh, I fucking hate that. I'm
Yep,
sorry.
and a lot of people do, and it can. I will say this. That's a slippery slope of controlling people's behaviors But if you're just screwing with people to screw with you, we're not gonna just do something to your character. We're gonna boot you from the server.
Yeah.
We're just gonna get rid of you. Because for the same reason, because this stuff has value to people, and you're not gonna come in and screw it up because you felt like it.
Yeah, that's not chill.
Now, if you want to be an evil toon and you do evil, and in the process of doing evil, your stuff gets blown up, hey, it's D&D. That we all got here. You may have to rebuild it, but it's D&D. I've lost a lot of stuff to just the story happening to me. Heck, I lost Albion. I lost an entire planet. So we're not going to let someone come in and just grief other players for no reason because you want to be a troll.
Right.
Nah, we don't do that. We're not cool with it. And you want to troll outside of dice. You don't troll in dice. Oh, now we may make a world where griefing is cool. If you want to go be a troll on this planet. Because I know he likes to troll to a certain extent, I think it is, but he's also not big on the griefing. There's a whole trolling culture that I just never got into. So
Yeah.
I have thought about how this would be handled in one of those ways is you'll get restricted the first time. We'll restrict your ability to move through the Discord. And if it comes up again, well, then you're done. You're just done. Not gonna screw with people's stuff for the sake of screwing with someone's stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not okay with it, and a lot of people aren't. So that's just one of the few hard rules. Now, again, I say, you and a player end up with beef, and you as, players handle it in dice. I don't know. I'm kind of okay with that. As long as you two are like, hey, now we're gonna deal with this. Our groups are going at it, so this isn't trolling. We're handling something. All right, cool. You do you. It may go out as a bounty to other people to try and get involved. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you make it a part of the story, well, now it's a part of the story, and we can work with that.